starting line. What a pair. Mark Oswald in the far lane, Kenny Bernstein in the near lane. The two quickest cars in all of funny car racing at this event. They qualified number 1 and number 2 with Bernstein on top. It's a pick-em race. The shiny front wheel on Oswald's car blanked out with white shoe polish to prevent any random reflections from getting into the starting line device there in the center of the track. Bernstein got the lane choice. He picked the lane nearest the camera. He thinks that's the best. And it's a whole shot for Oswald by about a half a car length. He is ahead of Kenny Bernstein, and he holds it. And Mark Oswald defeats Kenny Bernstein for the 3rd time this season, moving him ever closer in that World Championship points chase. The quickest time of eliminations. He saved the best for last, 5.61 seconds. His speed, 257 miles an hour. You want to see close, funny car racing? Watch this. Oswald, by 100th of a second, had the advantage when they left the starting line. There's a little bit of smoke off the tires from Kenny Bernstein's car. That gave Oswald just enough time to pull ahead by a car length, and he held it all the way to the finish line.
Good shot. Good deal.
Mark Oswald wins his 3rd NHRA title of the year, but this one has got to be maybe the sweetest. A 561 to a 66, and you beat the baddest guy in the sport, no question about it.
Yeah, those guys are definitely hot. We're really happy to be able to beat them. You know, we got a lot of people to thank. You know, Pontiac, Old Milwaukee Beer, our sponsors have been real good to us. You know, everybody on the crew worked real hard.
Tell me about the race itself from the moment you left.
I think I got out on him a little. It felt like I had a little bit of a lead, and I was just trying to hang on. It's just like last round, the car was skating around on the other end, just trying to keep it off the center line.
Did you just see him down the racetrack?
No, I didn't see him once. After about 100 feet, I never saw him.
Anytime you can outpower Kenny Bernstein in the lane he put you in, you've really accomplished something, Mark.
Yeah, the racetrack was excellent here in both lanes today, which helped us out quite a bit.
Congratulations, champion.
Thanks, Steve.
An outstanding driving job by 33-year-old Mark Oswald. A congratulatory handshake from Kenny Bernstein. The darkening skies adding even more pressure to these two drivers. Force trying to win his first ever major NHRA championship victory. Gross is going for his 2nd. He won his first only last season. The lights across the starting line highlighting the polished wheels, the works of art that have become funny cars in NHRA championship drag racing competition. A slow staging process. They both make that final move forward. It's a good start. Gross is out in front. Force in hot pursuit. At the finish line, Gross shuts it off early but wins the race. Tim Gross wins it. His elapsed time, 5.69 seconds. His speed, only 236 miles an hour. Then Tim Gross holds on to the finish line and wins the race. In replay, you can see the flames coming out of the headers. Watch them on Tim Gross's car. It will show you exactly how early he shuts that motor off. It happens right there before the first timing light. Tim Gross wins.
Tim Gross wins his 2nd NHRA national event title, but this time, unlike the last time, the engine's all together, you're not on fire, everything's perfect.
This is probably one of the most exciting moments of my life, but yeah, what a distraction. I staged the car up and my goggles were totally fogged. I left the starting line, and well, I know this probably isn't kosher for the rules, and I had to rip my goggles off my face before I could shift it so I could see where I was going.
Desperate men do desperate things.
And then when I got near the lights, of course, there was so much flying around the cockpit and all that clutch dust, I had problems seeing, and I heard him go by me, and I didn't know if I was at the finish line or what. That, I guess we won her, though.
I guess you did, Tim. Butch Lale has already put one Pontiac in the winner's circle. Mark Oswald has a chance to do likewise with this Pontiac replica body, a beautiful aerodynamic shape draped over that chrome molly chassis. Well, this race is at hand. The crews have done all they can. It's up to these two drivers now. Bernstein hungry for those points, hungry for his first victory of the year. Oswald hasn't won since August of '84. Two very evenly matched race cars, pre-staged, neither driver in any hurry. Bernstein settles into the main. We have got a beautiful start. It is Bernstein out first. Kenny Bernstein by 2/100 of a second. Who won it? The win light says, and Paul Kennedy says, Mark Oswald has defeated Kenny Bernstein in a real squeaker of a race. They ran 400s quicker than Bernstein at 576. He had a 200s advantage, so it was almost a dead heat, Brock.
It was indeed. It was one of the closest funny car finals we've seen in a long time. An almost even start, just a little bit of an edge to Kenny Bernstein, but it quickly disappeared. Bernstein, though, appeared to be in it to well over half track. There you can see Oswald slowly overtaking him to win by 2 feet.
There's a chance that the man under that helmet, Mark Oswald, doesn't even know who won that race. I can tell you, you did.
Thank you. I couldn't tell, I'll tell you that. It's plenty close. I came around him in the last little bit.
You had to have passed him right in the lights.
Yeah, it just was right there. His car looked like it nosed over. He was out ahead of me just a little bit.
Well, you outpowered him, just outmuscled him.
Really? How quick did he run?
Well, you ran a 576, he ran in the 580s.
Yeah, made it anyway, enough.
Well, you saw him all the way down the racetrack then.
Oh, yeah, that was a hell of a drag race. You can't ask for any better than those.
Well, let's see, it's been since, what, autumn of '84 that you won one of these things? Good job.
Yeah, that's right. It's been a long time for the old Milwaukee Pontiac, but we're finally back.
Indeed they are. Spring Nationals champion Mark Oswald, car owner Paul Candies.
That big number 1 on the side of the car indicates he's the reigning world champion. He took it away from this man. Mark Oswald driving for Candies and Hughes. The Pontiac Trans Am qualified in the number 2 spot, but he has been about 0.15 of a second behind Kenny Bernstein in the performance level thus far. This is the final for the title of Funny Car Eliminator. A great start. Oswald smokes the tires. Can he recover? It's a close race to the finish, and Mark Oswald pulls off the upset of the meet. He establishes low elapsed time at 5.81 seconds at 252 miles an hour. Mark Oswald, your funny car champion. When they leave the starting line, it is a perfect start for both drivers. The front wheels on Oswald's car off the ground. As they come back to the pavement, the rear tires begin to smoke. But as I told you before, Oswald, one of the best. He recovers quickly, stays alongside of Kenny Bernstein, then begins to inch ahead to the finish line where it's just a matter of a couple of feet.
Good race, Kenny.
Not only does Mark Oswald win the Mile High Nationals, Mark, you took low elapsed time of the event away from your opponent, Kenny Bernstein, a 581 and a speed 252 miles per hour.
I left the valve all the way open. It was awful close. Ours hazed the tires in the middle of the track, and he was out in front of me, and I come back around him. It was just, they put up a hell of a race. So those guys, when you can beat a car like the Budweiser car, you know, the old Milwaukee Brewery can be plenty proud, because those guys are tough.
I would have to say the two of you right now are the toughest funny cars in this sport.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
The big speed. Even a year ago, that seemed impossible in this altitude. Why?
Well, you know, Pontiac's helped us a lot in the wind tunnel. That's got a, you know, tremendous amount to do with it, you know, and everybody's been working hard. Kenny's been out in front of us. Everybody's been flogging their cars, and that's what happens when you work that hard.
We may still yet have a great battle for the World Championship, huh?
I'd like to think so.
That's Jim Head over there. Remember, he coasted through on an easy pass after Johnny West red-lighted. And, of course, Ed McCullough still hanging in there, running in what we thought was the bad lane yesterday. But right now, it's probably heads-up racing.
Oh, absolutely. The weather conditions couldn't be better today. This is McCullough in the near lane, Head in the far lane. I think any thoughts of this being a marginal racetrack, you can forget that. This is a whole new ball game now. They better have come to the starting line with some horsepower.
And probably a different combination. Yesterday was cold and muggy. Today, clear and chilly, but very dry. So let's see who does it. Who's got the right combination?
They are side by side. Neither has an advantage. It is, the electronic wind judge says, Ed McCullough. Ed McCullough and Larry Minor's Oldsmobile. How about this, Brock? Identical elapsed times, 6 flat.
Beautiful drag race all the way. These guys had this track handled. Their clutches were perfectly adjusted. It was merely a question of McCullough's slightly better reaction time. You can see right there. But from there on in, it was an absolute heads-up drag race. As you said, absolutely equal ETs, not particularly fast, still slow, 6.0 seconds. But a winner here at the Southern Nationals, Ed McCullough.
Ed the Ace McCullough makes it 2 NHRA championships back-to-back. First, the Gator Nationals, where you were a little lucky. Boy, you won this one clean and fair, Ace.
I tell you, Steve, that was a real close drag race right there. Thing left, went out there, fluttered the tire just a little bit. I couldn't see him, and I tell you, just going into the lights, I saw that red fender out there, and I says, oh, come on, finish line.
I don't think Jim knew who won either.
Yeah, it was real close. Sorry we didn't get it off earlier, last night, but I'm glad the results are this way.
Well, it's a good thing you won when you did, because then your luck changed and your glasses broke.
Well, I tell you, maybe now we can afford to buy some new glasses.
Indeed. Congratulations again to you and Larry Minor and the entire team from Hemet, California.
Thank you.